Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you guys there. I was just checking out the NBC World Series' new app. You could find this app at the App Store. All you need to do is type in NBCWS to be caught up on all things NBC World Series.
NBC World Series, it all happens here.
And we welcome you to Lawrence Dumont Stadium along the banks of the Arkansas River for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series powered by Weststar Energy. This is Frank Martinez, and I will be your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. Tonight's game is a semifinal game, and it will feature the visiting team, the National Junior College USA National Team, against the home team, the Wellington, Kansas Heat. The winner of this game will go on to meet the Santa Barbara, California Forsters, who had just won their last game here at the 7 o'clock game as they defeated the San Antonio, Texas Angels. All right, here's our starting lineups for today's game. First of all, for the USA National Team, leading off and playing third base, he'll be number 3, Brian Sturgis. Batting second, the left fielder, number 23, Brent Blaylock. Batting third, the designated hitter, number 28, Colton Onstad. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 29, Saul Garza. Batting fifth and playing center field will be number 8, Brock Edge. Batting sixth will be the right fielder, number 10, Brandon Parker. Batting seventh and catching will be number 20, Tucker Childers. Batting eighth and playing second base, number 2, Tommy Sacco. Batting ninth and playing shortstop will be number 1, Josh Briston. And pitching for the USA National Team will be number 21, Brooks Warren. The USA National Team is coached by Doug Wren. And now here's the starting lineup for the home team, the Wellington, Kansas Heat. Leading off and playing second base will be number 4, Itchy Burtz. Batting second, the shortstop, number 7, Alex Lyon. Batting third and playing first base will be number 37, Luis Amaro. Batting fourth and DHing will be number 20, Joe Rankin. Batting fifth and playing left field, number 21, Kevin Connolly. Batting sixth and playing center field will be number 11, Alex Cook. Batting seventh and catching will be number 5, Caleb Dubler. Batting eighth and playing right field will be number 3, Sam Curtis. Batting ninth and playing third base will be number 14, Cody Robinson. And pitching for Wellington will be number 13, Craig Kanaki. Kanaki will be on the mound for the Heat. The Heat is coached by head coach Rick Twyman, assisted by Chad Brown, Kyle Vale, and Nate Landry. Our umpires for today's game at home plate will be Mark Hutchinson. First base, Jeff Spisak. Second base, Travis Olson. And at third base, Greg Mudd. And now taking the field is the Wellington, Kansas Heat. Wellington, Kansas Heat come out of the Kansas Collegiate League Baseball. And defensively now, once again, for the Wellington Heat, at first base, number 37, Amaro. Second baseman, number 4, Burtz. Shortstop, number 7, Lyon. Third baseman will be number 14, Robinson. Left fielder, number 21, Connolly. Center fielder will be number 11, Cook. Right fielder, number 3, Curtis. Catching, number 5, Dubler. And pitching is number 13, Craig Kanaki. Kanaki on the mound. Kanaki is a right-handed thrower from Temple, Arizona. He's a 6'9", 250-pounder, a graduate from Oklahoma City. Big kid up there on the mound. And he'll be facing, our first batter will be the third baseman, number 3, Brian Sturgis. Sturgis comes into the game batting .250. He has 4 appearances. He has 1 hit, 1 run scored, 4 base on balls, and 3 strikeouts. And starting pitcher, Kanaki doesn't have a line since he has not appeared in any World Series games here this year. Where the starting pitcher for the national team has, and we'll give you his line when it's that time. We're about ready to play ball. Once again, we are here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. This matchup between the USA national team and the Wellington, Kansas Heat. Once again, starting off will be the third baseman, number 3, Brian Sturgis. And here's Kanaki's first pitch. All ball 1. Count is 1 ball, no strikes to Brian Sturgis. Sturgis came in a game yesterday, late in the ball game. There's a swing and a foul ball by Sturgis. That evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. We're in the top half of the first inning. Once again, this is a semifinal game. The winner of this game will be taking on the Santa Barbara, California Forsters. As the Forsters defeated the San Antonio, Texas Angels 11-2. And in that ball game, it was scoreless until the 5th inning when Santa Barbara scored 1 run, and then coming back with San Antonio 2 runs in the top half of the 6th, but Santa Barbara scored 4 runs in the bottom half of the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and 5 in the bottom half of the 8th to make the final score 11-2. So they will be in the finals once again. That ball fouled off the count, goes 2 balls, 2 strikes now to third baseman Sturgis. There's the ball hit to the third baseman. Robinson goes to Amaro for out number 1. A 5-3 play for recorded in the books. It's going to bring up the left fielder, number 23, Brent Blaylock. Blaylock bats right-handed. He is a 6'1", 205-pounder from Northeast Mississippi, sophomore, and his 4-year college is going to be Southern Miss. So Kanaki is now ready to face Blaylock. First pitch called strike 1 by home plate umpire Mark Hutchinson. Let's get our umpires Home plate is Hutchison. First base is Spisak. Second base Olsen. And at third base Mudd. There's a ball hit to Robinson at third base. Comes to his left. Goes to Amaro across. And for out number 2. Once again, 5-3 for the second out. It's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 28, Colton Onstad. Onstad bats left-handed. He's a 6'1", 200-pounder from Dodge City. Sophomore. His 4-year college will be New Mexico. And there's a ball hit into left field. Connolly backing up, makes the catch for out number 3. So at the end of 1/2 inning of play, it's USA National Team 0 and the Wellington Heat coming to bat. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium along the banks of the Arkansas River for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series. You are watching the USA National Team versus the Wellington, Kansas Heat. The Wellington, Kansas Heat out of the Kansas Collegiate League Baseball. Defensively for the national team, at first base will be number 29, Garza. Second baseman, number 2, Sacco. Shortstop, number 1, Briston. Third baseman will be number 3, Sturgis. Left fielder, number 23, Blaylock. Center fielder, number 8, Edge. Right fielder, number 10, Parker. Catching, number 20, Childers. And pitching for the National Junior College USA National Team will be number 21, Brooks Warren. Warren is a left-handed thrower. He is 6'3", 230 pounders from East Central. He's a graduate from Southern Mississippi. All right. He's going to be facing second baseman number 4, Itchy Burtz. Itchy Burtz now batting for the Wellington Heat. He's coming in batting .667 as he played in 4 games, been up to bat 15 times, has 10 hits, 6 runs scored, 1 double, 3 RBIs, been hit by a pitch twice, and has recorded 2 strikeouts. Brooks Warren, ERA is 27.00. He has 1 appearance, went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs. Didn't have no base on balls, no strikeouts, and he did have 1 balk in the game. The count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Missing outside is Warren, so the count goes to 2-1 now as we are in the bottom half of the first inning, and we have no score yet. And here's Warren's pitch, missing outside. 3-1 now. The count to Itchy Burtz. His name is David, but he goes by Itchy. And there's a walk to Burtz. He'll be at first base. It's going to bring up the shortstop, number 7, Alex Lyon. And Alex comes in batting .333 as he's appeared in 4 games. Has 12. He's been at bat 12 times, has 4 hits, 2 runs scored, 1 double, 5 RBIs. He has had 3 base on balls and 7 strikeouts, and he's been hit by the pitch 1 time. There's a bunt attempt there by Lyon, missing for strike 1, so 0-1 now the count. There was a throw down to first base. Burtz was in safely. Childers catching. for Brooks Warren. Late there by Burtz. And Warren with the throw coming in. There's a swing and a miss by Alex Lyon. So the count goes to no balls, 2 strikes, with a runner at first base and no outs here in the bottom half of the first inning. The Wellington Heat against the National Junior College team. Ball in the ground, so the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. We're going to call them USA National Team, just makes it a little bit easier for me. So the USA National Team. And once again, Alex Lyon up the bat. And there is Warren's pitch, missing high. So the count goes 2-2. Itchy Burtz reach base with a base on balls to start off the bottom half of the first inning for the Wellington Heat. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. So that's the first strikeout recorded by Warren. The first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the first baseman, number 37, Luis Amaro. Amaro's batting .200, has appeared in 4 games, been up the bat 15 times, has 3 hits, 1 run scored, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, 1 base on balls, and recorded 4 strikeouts. There's a swing and a miss by Amaro, a left-handed batter for the Wellington Heat. So we have no balls and 1 strike with a runner at first base and 1 down here in the bottom half of the first inning. And here's Warren's ball hit to the second baseman. Sacco makes the play for out number 1. So we have a fly out to 4 for out number 2. Going to bring up the designated hitter number 20, Joe Rankin. The USA team is in an all gray with black socks and a black hats. And the Wellington Heat, I'm going to call it maroon. There's a runner, Burtz going to second base. The throw by Childers goes by second baseman Sacco, but backing up was Briston. So have a stolen base by Itchy Burtz, as he's now at second base. And it was a strike against Rankin. So no balls, 1 strike with a runner at second base and 2 down here in the bottom half of the first. There's a ball hit to the shortstop. Bryson waiting on the hop. I guess they're going to call it a foul ball. Or they no, it looks like they might have called a balk. Because runner is now at third base. So they had to have called a balk. And the count is no balls, 1 strike. So that last pitch does not count. Missing inside. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike now to Joe Rankin, the designated hitter for the Wellington Heat. Another beautiful evening here in Wichita, Kansas at Lawrence Dumont Stadium along the banks of the Arkansas River. And there's a ball missing low for count goes 2 balls and 1 strike. And Warren is ready for the pitch at home. Now the ball hits the shortstop Bryson. Goes across to Garza for out number 3. So at the end of 1 inning of play, we have no score, and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, welcome to the 84th Annual NBC World Series. We're really excited to partner with the NBC again this year, but the only thing that hits a better home run out of the park than this tournament is our app, Lawn Buddy. It's virtually the easiest way to mow your lawn. We're in 46 states, so download the app today so we can mow your lawn tomorrow.
And we welcome you back to this game between the USA National Team and the Wellington Heat as we start the top half of the second inning. In the bottom half of the first for the Wellington Heat, they had no runs on no hits, no errors, and one left on base as the runner got on with a base on ball, stowed second base, and then had a balk, ended up at third base, so he was left stranded there. So now starting off the top half of the second inning for the USA National Team, it's going to be the first baseman, number 29, Saul Garza, is now the batter. And he comes in batting .450 as he's appeared in 4 games. Has been to bat 20 times, has 9 hits, 5 runs scored, 2 doubles, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, and has struck out 3 times. The first pitch was called strike 1. No balls, 1 strike, and there's a swing and a miss by Garza. So Kanaki is now ahead of Garza. No balls and 2 strikes. And Kanaki's pitch. There's a ball hit to the shortstop. Lyon moves to his left, goes across to Amaro for out number 1. So a 6-3 play in the books for Garza. It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 8, Brock Edge. Edge comes in batting .350. He has played in 4 games, been up the bat 20 times, has 7 hits, 2 run scores, 1 double, and 4 RBIs. He has also struck out 3 times. There's call strike 1 to Brock Edge, the center fielder for the USA National Team. Craig Kanaki on the mound for the Wellington Heat. Ball hit to the second baseman. Burtz goes to his left, cross to Amaro for out number 2. So we have a 4-3 play for the second out. It's going to bring up the right fielder, number 10, Brandon Parker. Parker comes in batting .154. Has been up the bat 13 times, has 2 hits, has 4 runs scored, 2 RBIs, 6 base on balls, 1 been hit by pitch 1 time, and has recorded 5 strikeouts. The ball hit to a right field. Right fielder Curtis gets under it, makes the catch for out number 3. So at the end of 1.5 innings of play, we have no score, and we'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium, Wichita, Kansas. with the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. As we go to the bottom half of the second inning, this is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. And by the way, this will be my last game to announce here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. No, I will not be retiring, but Lawrence Dumont Stadium will be, as plans are to tear down Lawrence Dumont Stadium at the end of the semi-pro team that is here, the Wichita Wingnuts, and hopefully we'll have a new stadium in 2 years. Next year, the NBC is planning going to play at Wichita State University, and so hopefully in another year after that, we'll be back at a brand new stadium. All right, we're now at the bottom half of the second inning, and Kevin Connolly was the first batter. He flew out to the second baseman as Sacco moved to his right for out number one. So F4 is the play. Going to bring up the center fielder, number 11, Alex Cook. Alex Cook comes in batting .333. He has been up to bat 15 times, has 5 hits, 3 runs scored, 2 triples, correction. There's a ball hit to the third baseman. Sturgis goes across to Garza for out number 2. So 5-3 goes in the books for Cook. It's going to bring up the catcher, number 5, Caleb Dubler. Let me finish on Cook here. He has 2 triples, 2 RBIs, 1 base on balls, 1 hit batsman, and 1 strikeout. And like I say, now batting is Dubler. And Dubler comes in batting .250, been up to bat 12 times in 4 games. Has 4 runs scored, 3 hits, 1 double, 3 RBIs, 3 base on balls, and 1 strikeout. First pitch, it's a correction, it is now 0-2. There's a swing and a miss, and Warren strikes out Dubler to end the second. So at the end of 2, we have no score. We'll be right back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you guys there. I was just checking out the NBC World Series' new app. You can find this app at the App Store. All you need to do is type in NBCWS to be caught up on all things NBC World Series.
NBC World Series, it all happens here.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium. USA national team will be coming up to bat for the 3rd time. They are the visiting team. They are facing the Wellington, Kansas Heat in a semifinal game. The winner of this game will move on for the championship game tomorrow at 7 o'clock here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium, as the Santa Barbara Forsters defeated the San Antonio, Texas Angels 11-2. So the Forsters are one part of the championship game. Now batting for the USA national team will be the catcher, number 20, Tucker Childers. Childers has been up to bat twice, and he has recorded 1 strikeout as he's batting zeros across. The fly ball to Burtz at second base, goes behind the bag for out number 1. So we have a F4 recorded in the books now for Childers. It's going to bring up the second baseman, number 2, Tommy Sacco. Tommy Sacco comes in batting 200. So he has appeared in 4 games. Has been up to bat 10 times. Has 2 runs scored, 2 hits, 1 RBI, 3 base on balls, 4 strikeouts. The first pitch was fouled off, so no balls and 1 strike with 1 out here in the top half of the 3rd inning for the USA national team. And there's an attempted bunt fouled off by Sacco. So the count quickly goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Craig Kanaki, the pitcher for the Wellington Heat, just missing outside. So the count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes. Left-handed batter Sacco, swing and a miss for out number 3. And that pitch was dropped by Dubler, but he was able to touch Sacco for the out. Now batting will be the shortstop, number 1. Josh Briston is now the batter. That strikeout was the first strikeout recorded by Kanaki for the second out of the inning. Josh Briston comes in batting 125. Has been the bat 16 times in 4 games. Has scored 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 double, 3 RBIs, 3 base on balls, 1 hit by pitch, and 3 strikeouts. Count now goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes to Josh Briston. And Kanaki trying to go 1, 2, 3 for the 3rd straight time. 3 up and 3 down is what he's trying to do against the USA national team. That ball hit into the infield. Burtz gets under it, makes the catch for out number 3. So at the end of 2.5 innings of play, we have no score, and we'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
And we welcome you back as we go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning between the USA national team and the Wellington, Kansas Heat. So far in the ballgame, pitcher Brooks Warren has gone 2 innings, has given up no hits, no runs, no earned runs, 1 base on balls, 2 strikeouts, and he has faced 7 batters in 2 innings. So now batting for the Wellington Heat will be the right fielder, number 3, Sam Curtis. And the attempted bunt is fouled off. And Curtis has played in 2 games. He's batting 0-0-0 as he's been up to bat 7 times, has no hits, has recorded 1 RBI, apparently on a sacrifice, and 1 base on balls and 2 strikeouts. Oh, it looks like it hit Curtis. So Curtis will be taking the base at first on a hit batsman. We'll bring up the 3rd baseman, number 14, Cody Robinson. Robinson comes in batting .533 as he's appeared in 4 games. Has batted 15 times, has 8 hits, 4 runs scored, 2 RBIs. And that's all there is on Robinson. And the catcher, Childers, goes out to talk to Brooks Warren. I think they're giving Curtis a chance to heal up from that hits batsman. So now we're ready to go. Once again, Curtis is on at first base, and batting number 14, Cody Robinson. Brooks Warren ready for the pitch, and it is bunted to the first base side. Warren grabs it, goes to first base to Garza for out number 1. So 1-3 is the play on that sacrifice by Cody Robinson. Nice bunt laid down. So Sam Curtis moves over in scoring position as he goes to second base, and that's going to bring up the second baseman, number 4, Itchy Burtz. As Robinson records a sacrifice bunt. And the first pitch is fouled off, so the count goes to 1 ball, no balls and 1 strike. As we are in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, Wellington Heat batting with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 3rd. There's the pitch by Warren missing, but stopped there by Childers. And so Curtis not able to advance to third base on the play. And that evens up the count now at 1 ball, 1 strike to Itchy Burtz, second baseman for the Wellington Heat. And Warren's pitch ball hit to the shortstop, Briston, and the Curtis attempts to go to third base. Briston goes to Sturgis at third base and gets the out. So it is a 6-5 play for out number 2. Burtz reaches on a fielder's choice at first base. It's going to bring up the shortstop, number 7, Alex Lyon. First pitch is fouled off. Lyon struck out his first time at bat. Alex Lyon bats right-handed. He's from White House, Tennessee. He's a 5'11", 182 pounders, and he's a senior of SIU Carbondale. And the bat goes flying down the third base side, almost into the stands. And now a USA player will be retrieving that. And the bat boy, or ball boy, one of the two, is now going to be getting that bat back to Alex Lyon as the bat went flying. I've told you that this was my 24th year of announcing here. And I think it was 2011. It's been about, correction, it was 2007, I believe it was. The San Diego, California Waves were playing, and I had just got done announcing a ball game and went down to sit in the stands with some fans. There's a foul ball to the right-hand side, so Burtz will be heading back to first. Anyway, I just went down there, sat down in about the 3rd row along the third base side, and a player from the San Diego Waves did the same thing. As he swung, the bat went flying. It hit on the 2nd row on the handle, and I got the brunt end of the bat to the small of my back. And I remember, I still got pictures of the bruise that thing left me. And I remember telling the fans, that's it, I'm going back upstairs. It's too dangerous down here. But that's just one of my stories in the 24 years here at the NBC World Series. All right, we're 0-2 now. We're back to baseball. And there goes Burtz, and then it's going to be fouled off to the right-hand side. So the count stays no balls and 2 strikes. With a runner at first base and 2 down as we are in the bottom half of the 3rd inning with no run scored yet between the USA team and the Heat. All right, here's the pitch from Warren. He steps off. Warren so far has thrown 32 pitches, 21 strikes, and 11 balls. And here's Warren's pitch. Ball hit to the third baseman, Sturgis. Sturgis comes in. He's going to have to hustle. Not going to be in time as Alex Lyon is on with a base hit. That ball bounced in front of home plate and went to the third base side as Sturgis charged but was not able to get Lyon at first. So Lyon's on with a base hit. Burtz is on at second base, and now batting will be the first baseman, number 37, Luis Amaro. Luis Amaro flew out to the second baseman, and there's going to be a timeout as the coach for the USA national team, Mr. Wren, comes in to do some talking. There is action in the bullpen. Luis Amaro will be the batter. Let me give you a little bit information on him. Luis Amaro bats left-handed. He's from Roselle Park, New Jersey. He's a 5'11", 215-pounder. He's a graduate from West Texas A&M. And now the umpire goes out to the pitcher's mound to try to break it up. See what they're going to do. It looks like Brooks Warren will stay in. And Luis Amaro will be stepping in as there are now runners at first and second with 2 down here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. There's a ball missing by Warren outside. As Sam Curtis started off, he was a hit batsman, but had a forced out 6-5 for out number 1. As Robinson got a sacrifice bunt 1-3. He was put out at third base. Curtis was. It's 2-0 now, the count to Luis Amaro as we are in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. A great ball game so far. Only 1 hit given up so far in the ball game, and that to the Wellington Heat by Alex Lyon, who is now at first base. And here is Brooks Warren's pitch. Missing outside, so the count goes 3-0 now to Luis Amaro. We do have a pitch clock, and the clock is running down, but pitcher stepped off, and so did the batter, but umpire never called timeout. Got down to about 2 seconds before Warren started his motion. And calls strike 1 now to Amaro. So the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike with 2 down. And There's a ball hit into short left field. Blaylock coming in. It's not going to get to it. It bounces away from him, so scoring from second base is Itchy Birch. Going to third base is Alex Lyon. And the Wellington Heat have put up 1 run as Luis Amaro records a base hit and an RBI. And doing this with 2 down, and that's going to be it for Brooks Warren. As here comes Mr. Wren to let him know that he is done for the night. And coming in to pitch for the National Junior College team will be number 18. And number 18 is Indigo Diaz. I'll give you the numbers on Brooks Warren here in just a second. Tell you a little bit about Mr. Indigo Diaz, the right-hander thrower. He is 6'5", 250 pounds, a sophomore from Iowa Western, and his 4-year college will be Michigan State. All right, let me give you the numbers on Brooks Warren. He ended up going 2 2/3 inning, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, a base on ball, struck out 2 as he faced 12 batters. But he's done here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, and coming in will be Indigo Diaz for the USA national team, as the scorer is the Wellington Heat 1 and the USA national team 0. Once again, the Wellington Heat have done this with 2 outs. Here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Nice crowd here on a Friday evening. It is college night here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium, the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by West Star Energy, which means college night. They have drink specials, and college students got in free with a college ID. All right, now batting for Wellington as we're ready to go. Indigo Diaz is done with his warm-ups. Will be the designated hitter, number 20, Joe Rankin. And Diaz inherits a runner at first base and a runner at third base with 2 down here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, being down 1-0 now. And there's Diaz pitch is fouled off by Joe Rankin, the designated hitter for the Wellington Heat. Joe Rankin is a right-handed batter from Phoenix, Arizona, 6'3", 210-pounder. He's a senior from Southwestern. Call strike 2. So 0-2 now the count to Joe Rankin, as there is 2 down here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Indigo Diaz. That is a balk, that's correct. There is a balk. He was trying to let the catcher know that he was wanting him to redo the signs, and he picked up his right hand with the ball. And so scoring from third base will be Alex Lyon. Moving to second base is Luis Amaro on that balk. He could have stepped off but did not do it. So the coach for the USA national team is out questioning home plate umpire Mark Hutchinson. And Hutchinson has explained it to him. And once again, now the score 2-0 in favor of the Wellington Heat. The Wellington Heat started their season this year. There's a base hit into center field by Joe Rankin, and coming across, but it's going to be safe. Missing. Luis Amaro was coming down the line. The throw from edge into home to Childers along the third base side, and Amaro rerouted his path, and attempting to make the tag was Childers, but he missed, and so scoring was Luis Amaro. So Joe Rankin records a base hit and an RBI, and now the score is 3-0 in favor of the Wellington, Kansas Heat. All this done with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the third inning. And the first pitch is ball 1. As I was saying, the Wellington Heat opened their season on May the 26th of 2018, making their 25th season in existence. The Heat have won 882 games and have lost 207. They also have 3 world titles in 1996, 1998, the U.S. Open National Champions, and then they were the 2007 National Baseball Congress World Series champions. In 2013, the Heat played in the National Baseball Congress Championship game, and they came away with the national runners-up. All right, there's a third out. That was Kevin Connolly making the third out. So at the end of 3 innings of play, the score, the Heat 3 and the USA Nationals 0. We'll be right back.
The wait is over. The multi-platinum award-winning duo Sugarland back on tour for the first time in 5 years. Still the same 2018 tour. Saturday, August 18th at Entrust Bank Arena. The undeniable distinctive sound of Sugarland with special guest Frankie Ballard and Lindsay L. Tickets are on sale now at selectaseat.com. Get ready for Sugarland.
And we welcome you back as we get ready for the top half of the fourth inning. This is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer. In the bottom half of the third inning for the Wellington Heat, they scored 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. And that last out was made by left fielder number 21, Kevin Connolly, as he had a 6-3. He grounded out to the shortstop for out number 3. Sorry about that. I was telling you about the history of the Wellington Heat. Of course, they used to be called the Havasu Heat. Then they became the Hayesville Heat, and now are the Wellington Heat. Leading off the top half of the fourth inning for the USA National Team will be the third baseman, number 3, Brian Sturgis. This is Sturgis' second time at bat. He grounded out to the third baseman to start off the ball game. And Craig Kanaki is now in his 4th inning of work. Call strike 2. And Sturgis is a 5'10", 205-pounder from sophomore out of Howard. And there was a ball hit to Lyon, the shortstop. Goes across to Amaro for out number 1. It is a 6-3 put out. And it's going to bring up the left fielder, number 23, Brent Blaylock. Blaylock grounded out to third base to make out the second out in the top half of the first inning. And call strike 1. There's the pitch by Kanaki. Blaylock attempted to check his swing, but call strike 2. So he goes down. No balls, 2 strikes as we're in the top half of the fourth inning. And the score, the Heat 3 and the USA Nationals 0. Kanaki's pitch missing outside. So the count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody on with 1 out. There's a ball missing low. Dubler doing everything he can to block that one. So the count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss by Blaylock as he records the 2nd out of the inning. And that is the first recorded strikeout by Kanaki. Brings up the designated hitter number 28, Colton Onstad. Colton Onstad played for Dodge City and was voted the 2018 Player of the Year. There's a fly ball into left field. Conley gets under it, makes the catch for out number 3. At the end of 3.5, the score, the Heat 3 and the USA team 0. We'll be right back.
Leonard Skinner, last of the street survivors, farewell tour.
Saturday, September 29th in Trust Bank Arena.
With special guest, the Marshall Tucker Band, Leonard Skinner, on their final tour ever.
Tickets are on sale now at selectaseat.com, the venue box office, or charge by phone.
Leonard Skinner,
Playing in Trust Bank Arena one last time.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. And batting for the Wellington Heat will be the center fielder, number 11, Alex Cook, as Indigo Diaz is pitching for the USA national team. Leading off will be center fielder number 11, Alex Cook. Alex grounded out to third base in the bottom half of the 2nd inning as he recorded the 2nd out of the inning. This Wellington Heat Kansas team has played in 4 games, and their team average is .339, which is in 2nd here at the NBC World Series, right behind Santa Barbara, California Forsters. The Forsters are leading the team average at .367. Once again, the Wellington Heat at .339. They've scored 28 runs with 43 hits. And there's a strikeout. Catcher Childers drops the ball but goes to Garza for out number 1.
Catcher number 5, Caleb Dubler.
It's going to bring up the catcher number 5, Caleb Dubler. Dubler struck out to end the inning, the 2nd inning, that is, his first time at bat. First pitch is a ball. Dubler bats right-handed. He's from Asher, Oklahoma. He's a 5'10", 160-pounder. A senior from Southeast Oklahoma State. Count is 2-0 now to Caleb Dubler, the catcher for the Wellington Heat. Ball missing by Diaz. So 3-0 now the count to Dubler. Call strike 1. Now goes to 3 balls, 1 strike. Diaz recorded his first strikeout as he struck out Alex Cook to start off the bottom half of this fourth inning. And then there's a base on balls given up by Indigo Diaz. So Dubler will move to first base on that base on balls. And it's going to bring up the right fielder number 3, Sam Curtis.
Right fielder number 3, Sam Curtis.
And Sam Curtis is a right-handed batter. He's from Lincoln, California. He's a 6 foot, 170 pounders, a graduate from William Jessup. Count is 1 ball, no strikes to Curtis. Now there's a throw over to first base. Dubler back safely. So 1-0 still the count. There's a pitch by Diaz in there for a strike. It evens up the count now at 1 ball, 1 strike to Sam Curtis. As we are in the bottom half of the fourth inning, once again, the winner of this game will move on to the championship game. There's a swinging strike 2 by Curtis. So the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes with a runner at first base and 1 out in the bottom half of the fourth. Once again, the winner of this game will move on for the championship game tomorrow against the Santa Barbara, California Forsters, who defeated the San Antonio, Texas Angels 11-2. And San Antonio came out of that first week. They were 8-0 until they met the Forsters. Count goes to 2-2 now. To Sam Curtis. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3 as Diaz records his second strikeout of the ball game. Second strikeout of this inning. That's going to bring up the third baseman number 14, Cody Robinson.
Third baseman number 14, Cody Robinson.
Cody Robinson bats right-handed. He's from Dewey, Oklahoma. He's a 5'10", 180 pounder, and he's also a graduate from Southwest Christian. There's a ball hit to the right-hand side. It's going to be out of play, and kids are standing there in uniform. One great thing about here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium, the NBC, all you got to do is wear your uniform, and you get in free if you're a kid, which is a great thing to do. 16 days of baseball by just wearing your uniform for free. Ball missing, so the count evens up now at 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at first base with 2 down as we are in the bottom half of the fourth inning. 3-0 in favor of the Wellington Heat. There's a breaking ball, 77 miles an hour. And the count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike now to Cody Robinson. As Caleb Dubler is at first base, he reached on a base on balls. There has been 2 strikeouts and a foul ball over our heads. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Cody Robinson.
Home of the $24 oil change. Call 316-9.
Missing low. That's going to make the count go full now, 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Once again, Dubler at first base. He'll be taken off on the pitch with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the fourth. And here is Diaz's pitch. There goes Dubler, and it is fouled off by Robinson along the third base side. So Dubler will go back to the base. And hanging tough is Cody Robinson for the Wellington Heat. Another full count. And its pitch is inside, so taking a walk will be Cody Robinson. Moving over to second base is Dubler. And now batting for the Wellington Heat will be the second baseman, number 4, Itchy Burtz, who reached on a base on balls in the first inning, stole second, and we have a penalty, ball 1. He stole second base and then he moved to third base on a balk but was left stranded in the first inning. There's a foul ball right back just left of us. So the count goes to no balls and 1 strike to Itchy Burtz. And then in the third inning, he reached on the fielder's choice and scored a run on 3 straight singles by Lyon, Amaro, and Rankin. As Amaro got the RBI on Burtz. So no balls, 2 strikes now to Itchy Burtz as he's up in the bottom half of the 4th. Missing just outside is Diaz. An 89-mile-an-hour fastball. But the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Robinson at first, Dubler at second with 2 down. And there's Diaz missing high. So the count goes 2 balls, 2 strikes now with 2 outs. Nice cool breeze blowing from left field. There's a foul ball right back to the net area. And the count stays at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Left-handed batters have a tendency to, when they foul the ball up, to come right back at us, so we need to make sure we're careful here. And there's a ball fouled off to the third base side going into the stands. Takes a big bounce. And another souvenir for an NBC fan. And a youngster gets handed that ball, and he's jumping up and down, enjoying every moment. Another memory made here at the NBC. And pitch missing outside, so now the count's going to go full at 3-2. With runners at first and second and 2 outs, the runners will be taken off on the pitch. And batting is Itchy Burtz for the Wellington Heat. And here's Diaz's pitch, fouled off again. And once again, just left of our window. So the runners go back to first and second, but they will be taken off on the pitch as it is a full count, 3-2. And Indigo Diaz, this pitch is fouled off again. As that was the 36th pitch by Diaz. So far he has thrown 21 strikes and 15 balls here in the ball game in 1 inning of work. And here's Diaz steps off this time, and back to second base is Dubler. Nice job there by Diaz. Knowing that the runners were going to be taken off, he thought he might get a free one there. So full count. And there goes the runners. Ball fouled off again to the netting area. And hanging tough is Itchy Burtz, second baseman for the Heat. Sorry about that, but Robinson was kind of panting as he was going back to first base, as that was about the fourth time that he's taken off. There's a ball hit to right field as the runners are taking off. That's going down the line. Moving over is Parker in foul territory and makes the catch for out number 3. So at the end of 4 innings of play, it is the Wellington Kansas Heat 3 and the USA National Team 0. And we'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
And we welcome you back as we have the Oxford Fresh battle going on. There along the third base side. Kind of dangerous, but a lot of fun. Fans enjoy it. All right, we go to the top half of the 5th inning. And batting for the U.S. national team will be the first baseman, number 29, Saul Garza. First pitch is ball 1. The ball gets away from the catcher. And home plate umpire Hutchinson hands him a ball. And we're back in play. There's a foul ball by Garza.
If that foul ball was caught by your vehicle, give Legacy Advisors Insurance Agency a call to make sure you and your family are protected at 316-773-9864.
Saul Garza is the right-handed batter, 6'3", 225 pounds, freshman out of Howard, and his 4-year college is LSU. He is 0 for 1 here in the ball game, but he is batting .429 for the tournament. And Craig Kanaki starting off his 5th inning of work. There's a fly ball into right field, and Garza's going to be in with a base hit. That is the first hit of the ball game for the USA national team. It's going to bring up the center fielder, number 8, Brock Edge. Brock Edge is 0 for 1 here in the ball game, but he is batting .333 for the tournament. And let me give you a quick rundown on Craig Kanaki. He's gone 4 innings, has given up that 1 hit to Garza, has 2 strikeouts as he faced 13 batters. There's a foul ball along the first base side. So the count's going to go to 1 ball, 1 strike. Now to Brock Edge. So Craig Kanaki has done a great job so far. For the Wellington, Kansas Heat. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at first base with no outs as we're in the top half of the 5th inning. There's a pitch by Kanaki hitting the outside corner, 70 miles an hour. Kind of turned that ball over just a little bit. So the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Kanaki's pitch. Ball hit right back. Pitcher off the pitcher's glove. Goes to second shortstop Lyon. Lyon goes over to Amaro for the double play. That ball was hit hard off Kanaki's glove, and backing up was the shortstop Lyon. He touched on second base for the force out and goes to first for the double play. It's going to bring up right fielder number 10, Brandon Parker. So Edge hits into a double play, an assisted 6 and 6-3 double play. So there's 2 down now here in the top half of the 5th inning. And Brandon Parker is 0 for 1 so far in the ballgame as he flew out to left field. And that's a foul ball along the third base side. Chasing was Robinson. Not able to get to it, so count is 1 ball, 1 strike now to Brandon Parker. So I was saying Parker is 0 for 1 so far, and he is batting 143 here in the World Series. Check swing, ball hit to the first baseman, Amaro. He goes unassisted for out number 3. So at the end of 4.5 innings of play, it is the Heat 3 and the USA team 0. We'll be right back. Well, we welcome you back as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. The USA national team versus the Wellington, Kansas Heat in this semifinal game. Winner goes to the championship game that's at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and they'll be facing the Santa Barbara, California Forsters. The Forsters defeated the San Antonio, Texas Angels 11-2. Leading off for the Wellington Heat will be shortstop number 7, Alex Lyon. Alex Lyon struck out his first time at bat, got a base hit in the 3rd inning, and ended up scoring a run on an RBI base hit by Rankin. Ball fouled along the first base side. Chasing is Amaro.
Some defensive substitutions for the junior college national team. Now catching number 9.
Correction, not Amaro, but Garza. My bad. And it is a foul ball. No balls, 1 strike to Alex Lyon as his 3rd time to bat here in the ball game. Another foul ball. 0-2 now the count. Diaz has gone 1 1/3 innings, has given up 1 hit, 2 base on balls, 2 strikeouts as he's faced 7 batters here in the ball game. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. And fouled off there by Lyon, fouled off his foot as he's trying to walk that one off. And I'm not sure if I ever gave you the rundown on Brooks Warren, but let me go ahead and do that real quick while we have a little timeout as Lyon tries to get himself together. But Brooks Warren went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 3 runs scored, 3 earned runs, 1 base on ball, 2 strikeouts as he faced 12 batters. And as I was saying that, I think I do remember giving you his rundown. But I had promised you that I would do that, but in case I didn't, we'll make sure we're covered. as Indigo Diaz is now pitching. There's a swing and a miss by Alex Lyon. He goes down swinging for out number one here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. And here comes Doug Wren. And we're going to have a pitching change. So I'll give you the rundown on Mr. Indigo Diaz, and we'll see who the new pitcher is for the National Junior College team. It's going to be a left-handed pitcher. Looks like it's number 19. It is. It is number 19, Braden Scott. Left-handed thrower, 6'3", 220 pounders. Sophomore from Olney Central. And his four-year college is Indiana. So now pitching number 19, Braden Scott. And while we're waiting for his warm-ups, I'll go ahead and give you the rundown on Indigo Diaz as he's done for the night. Indigo went 1 2/3 innings of pitched, gave up 1 hit, 2 base on balls, 3 strikeouts as he faced 8 batters here in the ball game. So Mr. Indigo Diaz is now done. And comes on Braden Scott. First batter he'll be facing is first baseman number 37, Luis Amaro. So Amaro is up there now. Amaro flew out to the second baseman, and then he had a base hit in the third inning. Again, we are in the bottom half of the fifth inning. The score, the Heat 3, and there's a swing and a miss there by Amaro as the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Morrow is 1 for 2 with 1 run score, 1 RBI, as he's batting .235 in the ball game. In the World Series. There's a breaking pitch, and Morrow hits that a mile long, but foul. As it goes in the area where there's a playground area for the kids, but I do believe that is closed now because it is almost 11:30 here, Wichita time. A cool 78 degrees. We can see the Arkansas River from here, which is just on the outside, the right field side. And swinging was Amaro for out number 2. As that's the second strikeout of this inning. It's going to bring up the designated hitter, number 20, Joe Rankin. Rankin is 1 for 2 with 1 RBI as he's batting .353 here in the series. And Braden Scott's first pitch is a ball to Joe Rankin. Infield at normal depth. There's a ball hit to the right-hand side. Looks like it's going to be over the first baseman. Garza goes into right field. Parker going to the line to get that ball. And in with a base hit is Joe Rankin, as Rankin records his second hit of this ball game. As he now goes 2 for 3. It's going to bring up the left fielder, number 21, Kevin Connolly. Kevin Connolly is 0 for 2 so far in the ball game. He's batting .188 for the tournament. First pitch by Scott. Well, Point Streak has 1-0, but the scoreboard operator has 2-0. So, not sure which one is correct. I had my head down as I was reading something, and they have count as 2-0. That's what I thought. Okay. It is 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. When the board operator out there on the field is not showing the correct count, it kind of throws us off here. So we have 2 balls, 1 strike now to Kevin Connolly. I thought I missed a pitch. Scott's pitch, ball hit to the left fielder. He's going to go right down the line. Blaylock chasing it down, but runners hold up at second is Rankin, and Connolly had already made the turn and was halfway to second base as he saw that Rankin was holding up, so he had to hustle back to first base. So Connolly records his first base hit of the ball game. Gets a single to left. Going to bring up the center fielder, number 11, Alex Cook. Alex Cook is 0 for 2 so far in the ball game with 1 strikeout, and he's batting .294 here in the tournament. Count is no balls and 1 strike to Alan Cook. Braden Scott in relief. And there's a breaking ball. A fly ball into the infield. Looks like it's going to be Bryson getting under it. Makes the catch for out number 3. So at the end of 5 innings of play, it is the Wellington Kansas Heat 3 and the USA National Team 0. And we'll be right back.
Never-ending summer featuring 311 and The Offspring. September 9th in Trust Bank Arena. With special guest, Gym Class Heroes. Tickets on sale now at selectaseat.com or by phone at 855-755-SEAT. 311 and The Offspring. In concert.
And we welcome you back as we go to the top half of the 6th inning. And leading off for the USA team will be the catcher, number 20, Tucker Childers. Childers, his second time at bat, ball hit down the third base side is foul as Robinson attempted to get to it, but it was foul. Looks like we do have a pinch hitter. My bad. Let's see here. It looks like it's number 9. Number 9 coming in for the national team, and that is Mikey Honer. Mikey Honer now pinch hitting, so he also will be catching. And the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Count evens up now at 2-2. to Mikey Honer as he replaces Tucker Childers at catcher. Ball hit the third base side, and it is foul. Third base coach attempts to fill that, but it goes off his hands. Goes down the line now as a USA National member will have to chase her down. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and there's the pitch by Craig Kanaki as he starts his 6th inning of work. He's gone 5 innings, only given up 1 hit, has recorded 2 strikeouts as he's faced 15 batters. There's a ball hit to the shortstop. Lyon goes across to Amaro for out number 1. A 6-3 play for out number 1 to start off the top half of the 6th inning. Brings up the second baseman, number 2, Tommy Sacco. This is Sacco's 2nd time batting. He struck out in the 3rd inning.
Second baseman number 2, Tommy Sacco.
And there's the pitch, fouled off by Sacco along the third base side into the crowd. I was hoping that young man did not hurt himself as he was going after it. It's bouncing around. 1-1 the count. There's a breaking ball, 72 miles an hour, hits the corner by Craig Kanaki. So far doing a great job for the Wellington Heat. The ball missing outside. There's a check swing, but third base umpire Greg Mudd says no, he did not go. So the count evens up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's a ball hit to the third base side by Sacco. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out as we are now in the top half of the 6th inning here of the semifinal game between the Heat and the USA team. Ball missing outside, so the count goes full now to Tommy Sacco. There's a ball hit to the shortstop, just over the shortstop's head as Lyon jumped up but was not able to get to that. And there is the 2nd hit of the ball game for the USA team. So Sacco records his 1st hit of the game. Going to bring up the shortstop, number 1, Josh Briston. Briston flew out to the second baseman to end the inning. In the 3rd inning. And Josh Briston now the batter. No balls, 1 strike. And there's a ball hit to the right-hand side down the first base side, and it is a foul ball. So the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Runner at first with 1 down here in the top half of the 6th inning. And there's the pitch. Ball hit to the right-hand side. Going to get into the stands area. And another souvenir for an NBC fan. 0-2 the count to shortstop Josh Briston for the USA national team. Here's the pitch. There goes the runner. Ball hit down the line. It's going to be a fair ball as it goes right over third base. So Sacco goes to second. Coming in home now is Sacco. And the turf kind of gave way there as Sacco tried making a slide. He was safe at home. And a double by Josh Briston. Down the line. Called fair. So a double for Briston and an RBI, as Sacco scores from first base, now takes the score to 3-1 in favor of the Wellington Heat over the USA national team. Now we're going to have a timeout. Now batting the third baseman, number 3, Brian Sturgis, coming up for the USA national team. As here in the top half of the 6th inning, the U.S. national team have got 1 run across. And we have a runner at second base with 1 out. There goes Briston to third base, and he's going to be in safely. He took that one off of Kanaki as he took off and was down about 2/3 of the way before that pitch was actually thrown. So great job there by Briston, seeing something in the delivery of Kanaki. Count is 1 ball, no strikes now to Sturgis. Sturgis hits the ball along the first base side. It is foul. So the count evens up at 1-1 now to Brian Sturgis. Sturgis is 0 for 2 so far in the ball game. And he is batting 167 in the tournament. And there's Kanaki's pitch, hit in the gap between third and short. All Lyon and Robinson could do was just look at it as it goes by, and Sturgis records his first hit of the game, and another run scores as Briston comes home from third base, and the score now 3-2 in favor of the Heat over the USA national team. The U.S. national team have scored 2 runs here in the top half of the 6th inning. Sturgis gets his first hit of the game and an RBI. And now coach for the Wellington Heat come out to talk to the pitcher and the players, as there is only 1 out here in the top half of the 6th inning. Let's go through our scoring real quick. No score in the first 2 innings. The Heat scored 3 runs in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, and then we went scoreless until here in the top half of the 6th, where the USA national team have scored 2 runs to make it 3-2. So far the line for the U.S. national team, they have 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and the Heat 3 runs on 5 hits and no errors. So now up to bat is Brent Blaylock. He grounded out to the third baseman in the 1st inning as he made the 2nd out, and then he struck out in the 4th inning, also making the 2nd out of that inning. So Blaylock is looking for his first hit of the game as he's 0 for 2. He is batting .263 for the tournament. There was a soft throw over to first base to get Sturgis back. Just to remind him, I haven't forgot about you. No balls and 1 strike to Brent Blaylock. And there's a pitch, gets away from the catcher, Dubler. So going to second base is Sturgis. He rounds second, but that's as far as he's going to get. Dubler was not able to get to that ball, and it was ball 1, strike 1, and 1 out. 1-1 the count. Runner at second base, now in scoring position to tie the ball game. Ball hit to the right-hand side, goes to Almaro. Almaro pitches up to Kanaki, and he's going to be safe as Kanaki missed the base. So Blaylock will be at first base. Sturgis goes to third base on the plate to the right-hand side. And now batting will be the designated hitter, number 28, Colton Onstad. And this is a very dangerous player to have up there. Once again, he was the 2018 Player of the Year in the Jayhawk League. He played for Dodge City, and I saw him hit one yesterday. There's a hard hit ball into center field. It's going to be a base hit. Scoring from third would be Sturgis. Going to second base will be Blaylock. And Onstad records his first hit of the game and an RBI, and the score now tied up at 3 apiece. And that's going to be it for Craig Kanaki as coach comes in to let us know who will be pitching.
Now pitching for the Wellington 8, number 15, Wyatt Akau.
Okay, looks like coming in to pitch is number 15, Wyatt Akau. I hope we said that correctly. Let me see what I can find out about Mr. Wyatt. He's number 19. Well, on the rosters, he's showing as number 15, so okay, he is a right-handed pitcher from Long Beach, California. Six foot, 185-pounder, graduate from Biola. So he's coming in on the pitch now for the Wellington, Kansas Heat. And that means we'll give you a rundown on Craig Kanaki. He ended up going 5 1/3 innings. Has given up 3 runs, 3 earned runs. Had only recorded 2 strikeouts as he faced 21 batters. Kanaki was moving along just fine in the ball game as he went 1, 2, 3 in the first, second, third, and the fifth inning. Matter of fact, he was facing the limit going into the 6th inning. But the USA team have scored 3 runs here now to tie the ball game up. Now batting is the first baseman, number 29, Saul Garza. As Blaylock is at second base and Onstad at first base. Count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike now to Sal Garza. Cal now the pitcher. Call strike 2. And catcher Dubler goes out to talk to Wyatt. We believe his name is pronounced Hakal. And if we're getting that incorrectly, we apologize. Sometimes we don't have the time between games to get all the names pronounced correctly. We do the starters, but we don't know who's going to be coming in. We try to get all the names, but just sometimes doesn't work out. All right, there's the pitch missing outside. The count evens out now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Once again, runners at first and second with 1 out. Here in the top half of the 6th inning with the score tied up at 3 apiece as the U.S. team has scored 3 runs. Pitch, call, strike 3 as he hit the outside corner for out number 2. And Cal records his first strikeout. Going to bring up the center fielder number 8, Brock Edge, is now batting. Brock Edge is 0 for 2 here in the ball game. And he is batting .318 for the World Series. There's the pitch, missing inside and high. So the count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. Once again, runners at first and second with 2 down now. As 1-1 the count. Brockridge, the center fielder for the USA national team, could get his team up by 1 here if he happens to get a base hit with a runner at second base. There's a ball hit into center field. Center fielder Koch gets under it, makes the catch for out number 3, but not before the USA national team scored 3 runs. So at the end of 5 1/2, the score tied up at 3 apiece. We'll be right back.
Make the most of every single moment. After the game, see what's happening at visitwichita.com.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium along the banks of the Arkansas River for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. This is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. They're in the top half of the 6th inning for the USA national team. They scored 3 runs off of 5 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. So we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning, and up for the Wellington Heat will be the catcher number 5, Caleb Dubler. Once again, the score tied up at 3 apiece as the USA national team scored 3 runs in the top half of the 6th inning. Count is no balls, 2 strikes now to Dubler. Dubler struck out his first time and reached on a base on balls. Reached second on a base on balls given up to Robinson, but was left stranded there as Birch flew out to right field. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Caleb Dubler. Pitching is Braden Scott now. Ball hit into left field. Correction, the shortstop backing up. The left fielder is going to call him off, Blaylock, and he gets under it for out number 1.
Right fielder number 3, Sam Curtis.
It's going to bring up the right fielder number 3, Sam Curtis, now for the Wellington Heat. Curtis is 0 for 1, has 1 strikeout, and has no batting average here so far. Call strike 1 from Braden Scott to Sam Curtis. Ball hit foul, long lead. First base side. Those line drives like that always scare me because sometimes spectators are not paying attention. That one there was a line shot, but luckily went off the stands and not a kid. So the count is no balls, 2 strikes. And missing outside is Scott. So the count goes to 1 and 2 as we have 1 out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Score tied up at 3 apiece. The breaking ball, 64 miles an hour by Braden Scott. And the count evens up now at 2 and 2. Missing for a ball. And there's a ball hit right back to the pitcher off his glove, but he's able to recover, goes to first base. That was Scott Tagarza for out number 2. So Scott didn't panic a whole lot. He jumped up after the ball bounced out of his glove, but it was behind him, was able to get to the ball to go to Garza for the out. So it is 1-3 on the put out for second out. Brings up the third baseman, number 14, Cody Robinson. Robinson had a sacrifice bunt laid down in the third inning as Sam Curtis had got on base. It was hit by a pitch and moved the runner over to second base. Ball hit to the shortstop. Ryston hustling in, goes to Garza for out number 3. So at the end of 6 innings of play, the score tied up at 3 apiece. We'll be right back.
Pain, back pain, all kinds of sprains. If your knee replacement aches when it starts to rain, at Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. Concussions, arthritis, carpal tunnel, tooth, fibromyalgia, Parkinson's, we've got the treatment for you. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. One-on-one sessions with a personal touch. Ask our thousands of patients why they love us so much. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that. At Advanced Physical Therapy, we treat that.
And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by West Star Energy. As we go to the top half of the 7th inning, the score tied up at 3 apiece. The Heat scored 3 runs in the bottom half of the 3rd, and the USA national team scored 3 runs in the top half of the 6th inning to tie the score up at 3 apiece. So now leading off the USA national team will be the right fielder, number 10, Brandon Parker. Parker flew out to right field to end the inning in the 2nd inning, and then he grounded out to first base unassisted for out number 3 in the 5th inning. So Parker is 0 for 2, but he's batting 133 here in the tournament. Count evens up now at 1 ball, 1 strike to Brandon Parker. Wyatt Hakau is now the pitcher. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Brandon Parker, the right fielder for the USA national team. No outs here. The top half of the 7th inning. There's a swing and a miss by Parker. He goes down swinging for out number 1. Going to bring up the catcher, number 9, Mikey Honer.
Center fielder. Correction. Catcher, number 9, Mikey Honer.
And the first pitch to Honer. His miss is just a tad high, so the count is 1 ball, no strikes. So we have 1 down here in the top half of the 7th inning. The winner goes to the championship game tomorrow. There's a fly ball into center field. Center fielder comes in. Right fielder also there, but the center fielder calls him off. That's Cook. And he makes the catch for out number 2. So F8 is the official play for the second out. It's going to bring up the second baseman, number 2, Tommy Sacco. Sacco, a left-handed batter. He's 1 for 2 here in the ball game so far. Has also scored a run And he has struck out one time. He comes in, he's batting .250 for the World Series. Defensively for Cal, not much has changed. Amaro's still at first base. Birch is at second. Line is at short. Robinson at third. Connolly in left field. Cook is in center, and Curtis is in right field. Dubler is catching for Cal. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike now to Tommy Sacco with 2 outs in the top half of the 7th inning. Missing is outside, 3-1 now the count. The last thing he wants to do is put a base runner on, with the score being tied here in the top half of the 7th. 76 degrees here in Wichita as we hit midnight. And Sacco will be going to first base on a base on balls as he reaches on for the 2nd time in the ball game. He got a base hit in the 6th inning as the USA national team scored 3 runs in that top half of the 6th to tie the ball game up. Now batting the shortstop number 1, Josh Briston. And the first pitch to Briston is fouled off along the first base side. So it's no balls, 1 strike now to Briston, with Sacco at first base and 2 down here in the top half of the 7th. Already waiting for the championship game will be the Santa Barbara, California Forsters. They seem to be a fixture in that championship game. Call strike 2. As a cow hit that corner. No balls and 2 strikes. To Josh. There goes the runner, Sacco, and a ball thrown into center field, but not able to advance as Cook is there. So a stolen base for Tommy Sacco as the USA national team is trying to get the go-ahead run in from second. Put themselves in scoring position. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Briston. Missing low. He evens up the count now at 2-2. Nobody warming up in either bullpen. As we are in the top half of the 7th inning. There's a ball hit up the middle and off the foot of a cow, goes to the shortstop line. Line goes to first, not in time. So it's going to be a base hit by Briston. Going to third base on the play is Tommy Sacco, as Briston records his 2nd hit of the ball game. That ball was hit up the middle, went off the pitcher's cow's foot, and backing up at second base was the shortstop, Lyon. Got to the ball, went to first, but was not in time. So now we have runners at first and third here in the top half of the 2nd inning, and now batting for the USA national team is the third baseman number 3, Brian Sturgis. Sturgis is 1 for 2 here in the ball game. Correction, 1 for 3 in the ball game, as he has scored 1 run, 1 RBI, and he's batting .286 in the tournament. Second pitch, call, strike 2. So no balls, 2 strikes. to Sturgis. Now we do have somebody warming up in the Wellington bullpen. And I don't see his number, but it looks like it starts with a 3. So it's 30-something. We'll see who it is here in just a second. Ball 1 to Sturgis. Sturgis has gotten a base hit and had an RBI. Also has scored a run. And there goes Briston. The ball hit into left field, and scoring from third base will be Tommy Sacco. And how important was that stolen base now by Sacco, as he has scored the go-ahead run here in the top half of the 7th inning. Briston goes to second. Sturgis is at first with a base hit and an RBI. And now batting, the left fielder, number 23, Brent Blaylock. And Blaylock, so far in his ball game, is 1 for 3 with 1 strikeout. And he is batting .300 here in the World Series. Swinging strike 1, 0-1 the count to Blaylock. Runners at first and second with 2 outs in the top half of the 7th inning. A swing and a miss by Brent Blaylock as the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. But the USA national team have scored the go-ahead run here in the top half of the 7th to make it 4-3 in favor of the USA national team over the Wellington Heat. There's a pitch outside. Going about halfway was Briston, but the catcher Dubler was able to hang on to the ball. So Briston goes back to second base, and Sturgis at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Brent Blaylock, left fielder for the U.S. national team. And there goes the runners. Ball is going to be fouled. Briston took off quickly. Sturgis followed. And both runners will go back to second and first, as Briston is at second and Sturgis at first. Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. USA national team being aggressive here as the runners were taken off, trying to get guys in scoring position. This time they're not going, but the ball hit into center field. It's going to fall in for a base hit in front of Cook. Here comes Briston, a home. The throw's going to be along the first base side, and Brent Blaylock records his second base hit of the game and an RBI as Josh Briston scores from second base to now takes the score to 5-3 in favor of the USA national team. And I believe this is going to be it for a count. And that will be it. Coming in for Wellington will be number 35. Looks like it's Ulysses Ramos. Ulysses Ramos now pitching for the Wellington Heat. Let me get him in the book here. And then I'll give you some information. Ulysses Ramos is a right-handed pitcher from Henderson, Nevada. He's a 6'5", 265-pounder. Is a graduate from Sterling. So Ulysses Ramos is now the pitcher, and I'll give you a rundown on Wyatt Macau. Okay, Wyatt ended up going 1 1/3 innings. He gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 1 base on balls, 2 strikeouts as he faced 8 batters. And now taking over, Ulysses Ramos for the Wellington Heat as they're down 5-3 here in the top half of the 7th inning. So Sturgis is at second base. Blaylock at first. And now batting, Ramos will be facing designated hitter number 28, Colton Onstad. So Ramos' first pitch to Onstad is ball 1. Missing outside. 1 ball, no strikes to Onstad. Second pitch from Ramos is missing outside. 2-0 now the count. Runners at first and second. Swing and a miss by Colton Onstad. So the count goes 2 balls, 1 strike. Second baseman playing deep on the left-handed batter. Now he moves in a little bit, and the ball hit foul. Watch out. That was a hard hit ball right into the stands. And luckily, nobody hurt. So the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes now to Onstad. And the pitch fouled off again. Blaylock at first base, Sturgis at second. As the U.S. national team have scored 2 runs here in the top half of the 7th inning to take a 5-3 lead. There's a pitch by Ramos missing. Will take the count to 3 balls, 2 strikes. With a runner at first and second, the runners will be taken off with 2 outs here in the top half of the 7th inning. And the catcher calls timeout. And here's the pitch. There goes the runner, and swing and a miss by Onstad to end the inning. But the end of 6.5 innings of play, it is the U.S. national team 5 and the Wellington Heat 3. We'll be right back.
Join us and help kids learn to walk, talk, and play with their peers by supporting Heart Springs pediatric programs. Heart Springs' 15th annual Pedal Fest bike ride is on Saturday, August 25th. Hop on your bike and pick the ride that's best for you. Pedal Fest has a route for everyone, from a 100K to a 5-mile family ride and 60K gravel ride. After the ride, rest your weary legs with a cold beer, lunch, and some family fun. Go to kwch.com for more information. Join the ride and help make a difference.
All right, we just had the 7th inning stretch And we're going to the bottom half of the 7th inning. We welcome you back. And up the bat will be the second baseman number 4, Itchy Burtz. Now batting for the Wellington Heat. Itchy Burtz attempts a bump, but pulls back. So 1 ball, no strikes to Itchy Burtz. As Burtz is officially 0 for 2 here in the ball game. He has scored 1 run, has a base on balls, and he's batting .588 here in the series. Braden Scott, the pitcher, left-handed pitcher for the USA team. Ball hit to the shortstop, Bryson. Bryson goes to Garza to first for out number 1. Here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. 6-3 is the play. It's going to bring up the shortstop, number 7, Alex Lyon. Now batting. Lyon is 1 for 3 with 1 run scored. Has 2 strikeouts as he's batting .333. And Braden Scott's first pitch is the ball. Defensively for Scott, still we have Garza at first, Sacco at second, Bryson at short, Sturgis at third, Blaylock in left, Edge in center, and Parker in right field, with Honer now catching for the USA team. As he took Childers' place. There's a ball hit to the shortstop, Bryson. Bryson goes to first, and Garza had to reach for that along the right field side, but he's able to stay on the base for out number 2. So 6-3 is the play for a second out. Brings up the first baseman, number 37, Luis Amaro. Luis Amaro is 1 for 3 with 1 run scored, 1 RBI, and 1 strikeout. He's batting .222. There's a foul ball over the stadium roof here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. This game and then the championship games are the last 2 games that will be played here of the NBC at the Lawrence Dumont Stadium. There's a ball hit to Sturgis. Sturgis goes to first. Garza for out number 3. As we end the bottom half of the 7th inning, the score, the USA National Team 5 and the Wellington Heat 3. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium for the 84th National Baseball Congress World Series. We're watching the USA National Team versus the Wellington, Kansas Heat. Semifinal game as the winner of this game moves on to face the Santa Barbara, California Forsters, who defeated the San Antonio, Texas Angels 11-2 in the first game. Leading off the top half of the 8th inning, this is the first baseman, number 29, Saul Garza, is the batter. And still pitching for the Wellington Heat is Ulysses Ramos. Garza is 1 for 3 here in the ball game with 1 strikeout, and he's batting .435 in the tournament. evens up now at 1 ball, 1 strike to Saul Garza. There's a foul ball by Garza. Count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. We are in the top half of the 8th inning. USA National Team 5 and the Wellington Heat 3. We actually had a decent ball game going on in the first game, the feature game. They went 5 scoreless innings until the bottom half of the 5th inning when the Santa Barbara scored 1 run. Then the top half of the 6th, San Antonio scored 2 to take a 2-1 lead. But then in the bottom half of the 6th, Santa Barbara scored 4 to make it 5-2. They added 1 in the 7th to make it 6-2, and then they added 5 in the 8th to make the final score 11-2. So far in the tournament, let's see, they were averaging 19. So they've scored 40 runs in 4 games. They're averaging 10 runs a game. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Count goes full now to Saul Garza. From Ulysses Ramos. There's a fouled off by Garza. Not much has changed defensively for Wellington. Still at first base is Amaro. Birch is the second, line at short. Robinson at third. Conley is in left. Cook in center and Curtis in right, with Dubler still catching. The only thing that's changed is the pitchers. There's a foul ball along the right field side. And the count is still full at 3-2. And here's the Ramos pitch. Ball hit to the right-hand side. Going back is Amaro. Going back is Birch. Along, it's going to be in foul territory. It was in the Wellington bullpen area, but it falls in there for a foul ball. So still alive at home plate is Saul Garza. So we still have a full count at 3-2. Again, we're in the top half of the 8th inning in this ball game. Now stepping in is Garza. And here's a Ramos pitch. Fouled off again by Garza. An 89-mile-an-hour fastball by Ramos. Bringing the heat by the Wellington Heat. Full count, 3-2. And looks like Garza had to go get a little bit more pine tar. As he steps back in there, and we're ready to go. And missing high is Ramos. So going to first base will be Saul Garza on a base on balls. I'll bring up the center fielder, number 8, Brock Edge. Edge is 0 for 3 here in the ball game, as he grounded out to second base. hit into a double play. There's penalty, strike one. To Brock Garza. Once again, they have 20 seconds to pitch the ball or start their motion anyway. But the batter has up to 5 seconds. If they're not in the batter's box within that last 5 seconds, and the pitcher hangs on to the ball, it's an automatic strike for the batters. He fouls that one off, so the count goes to 0-2. Once again, Edge hit into a double play in the 5th inning and then flew out to center field to end the inning in the 5th, where the USA National team scored 3 runs to tie the ball game up. So he's up for his 4th time, and the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes, with Garza at first base and no outs here in the top half of the 8th inning. Ramos' pitch gets away from Dubler, but Garza stays at first. So the count evens up now at 2-2. Still a decent crowd for 2:25 in the morning. There's a ball hit into right field in front of Curtis over the head of Burtz. Burtz was not able to get to it as he was backing up, and a base hit by Brock Edge for the USA National team. Moving to second base is Garza, and now batting the right fielder number 10, Brandon Parker. Coming up for the U.S. National team. Runners at first and second with no outs here in the top half of the 8th. There's a check swing there by Parker. Now they're appealing to the first base umpire, and he says no, he didn't go. So Parker is 0 for 3 with 1 strikeout, and he's batting 125 here in the World Series. Ramos hitting the outside corner, and the count goes even at 1-1. Last pitch, 85 miles an hour by Ramos. And here's the pitch. Breaking ball. The ball is going to get away from Dubler, so both runners will advance. Garza will go to third. Edge will move to second. As the ball got away from Dubler, that pitch was well outside. So the count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike now to Brandon Parker, the right fielder for the USA National team. Got the infield now in as they're trying to keep from allowing any more runs to score. So infield in on both sides. And the outfield still at about normal. And a three balls and 1 strike now to Brandon Parker. Fouled off, straight back. So we'll even up the, correction, it will now take us to a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. I was sitting there looking at that and still said evens up the count. Must be 12:30 in the morning. All right, here's a Ramos pitch. Swing and a miss by Parker. And Ramos strikes out Parker for out number 1 here in the top half of the 8th inning. It's going to bring up the catcher, number 9, Mikey Honer. Mikey Honer came in to relieve Tucker Childers. Honer is 0 for 2 as he grounded out to shortstop in the 6th inning and then flew out to center field in the 7th inning. But Honer is batting .231 here in the World Series. Count goes to 2-0 now to Mikey Honer. And here's Ramos's pitch, missing outside. So the count goes to 3 balls, no strikes. With runners at second and third and 1 down in the top half of the 8th inning. Once again, the USA National Team 5 and the Wellington Heat 3. There's an 86-mile-an-hour fastball. Recall strike 1. So the count is 3 balls and 1 strike now to Mikey Honer. Ramos missing low for ball 4. So Honer will be at first base now on a base on balls. And here comes the coach for the Wellington Heat looking out to the bullpen area. So we'll see whether Ulysses Ramos continues or whether we're going to have a change. And looks like that's going to be it for Ulysses Ramos. And coming in to pitch will be number 44 for Wellington Heat. And that is Aaron Henderson, number 44, coming in to pitch. And we'll tell you about him in just a few seconds. So we're going to take a small break while he warms up. All right, we welcome you back. Once again, now pitching will be number 44, Aaron Henderson. Let me give you a little bit information about him. He's a right-handed thrower from Hobbs, New Mexico. He's a 6'4", 250-pounder. Is a graduate from Southwest. So he is up now, and while we're doing that, we'll also let you know how Ramos did. Ramos went 2/3 of an innings, gave up 1 hit, 2 base on balls, 2 strikeouts as he faced 5 batters. All right, Henderson now up there would be facing the second baseman, number 2, Tommy Sacco. Sacco now up with the bases loaded and 1 down here in the top half of the 8th inning. The score 5-3 in favor of the USA National Team. Garza is at third base, Edge at second, and Honer at first base. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike now to Tommy Sacco, left-handed batter. Sacco is 1 for 2 here in the ball game with 2 runs scored, 1 base on balls, and 1 strikeout as he's batting .250 for the World Series. Missing is Henderson outside, so the count goes to 3 balls, 1 strike. Once again, bases are loaded, so he's got nowhere to put Sacco. And here's Aaron Henderson's pitch. Fouled off by Sacco. So that's going to take the count full now at 3-2. Runners at first, second, and third with one down here in the top half of the 8th inning. As everything was going smoothly for the Wellington Heat until the 6th inning. And there's ball 4 to Sacco as he'll take base on balls. Coming in to score will be Garza from third base, and moving over to third will be Edge. And the second base is Mikey Honer. Now batting will be the shortstop, number 1, Josh Briston. So an RBI there by Sacco. Once again, Josh Briston now the batter with the bases loaded and still one down. Now takes the score 6-3 in favor of the USA national team. Count is 1-0 now to Josh Briston. And there's Henderson's pitch, swing and a miss for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out. The score is now 6-3. Swing and a miss there by Josh Briston. Or, of course, that's a strikeout by Briston. And that's going to bring up the third baseman, number 3, Bryant Sturgis. Sturgis comes in batting. He's 2 for 4 here in this.
Third baseman number 3, Brian Sturgis.
Sturgis is 2 for 4 with 1 run scored, 2 RBIs. He's batting .375 here in the World Series. No balls and 1 strike, and here's the pitch, missing low for ball 1. So the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Now we have 2 down as Briston went down for a strikeout to make this second out. Base is still loaded with 2 down. There's a breaking ball, 77 mile an hour, in for a strike by Aaron Henderson. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Sturgis. Henderson's pitch, swing and a miss by Sturgis, struck him out as Henderson strikes out the last 2 batters, but not before the USA national team score 1 run. And at the end of 7.5 innings of play, it is the national team 6 and the Wellington Heat 3. We'll be right back.
For 60 years, Goodwill has helped people with disabilities, like Dontre, develop skills through job training opportunities. Dontre wanted to work, but he struggled with managing his task lists and communicating with coworkers. With the help of a Goodwill employment training specialist, Dontre got a job he loves and improved his communication and time management skills, becoming an independent and reliable employee. Donate, shop, educate, employ. Learn more and give at goodwillks.org.
Well, we'll welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium. 84th National Baseball Congress World Series, powered by Westar Energy. Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer for tonight, and we're going to the bottom half of the 8th inning with the score: the USA National Team 6 and the Wellington Kansas Heat 3. Once again, the winner of this game will go on to the championship game, where they'll be facing the Santa Barbara, California Forsters. Now batting in the bottom half of the 8th inning for Wellington will be the designated hitter, number 20, Joe Rankin. Rankin is up to bat. He is 2 for 3 here in the ball game with 1 RBI, and he's batting .389. Second pitch to Rankin is a ball, evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike now to designated hitter Rankin. He grounded out the third base in the first, got a base hit and an RBI in the 3rd inning, and a base hit, and was left stranded at second base in the 5th inning. There's a ball hit to the shortstop, bobbled by Briston, but was able to recover, as it is a 6-3 put out. Going to bring up the left fielder, number 21, Kevin Connolly. So Wellington almost got a break there as Briston bobbled the ball, but was able to recover to go across to Garza for the out. Connolly does have a 1 base hit. There's a foul ball into the stance. So the count goes to no balls, 1 strike to Kevin Connolly. Connolly is 1 for 3. And he's batting .235. There's a breaking ball at 77 miles an hour for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes now to the left fielder, Connolly, for the Wellington Heat. And here's Braden Scott's pitch, missing high. Count is 1 ball, 2 strikes to Connolly. Missing high also again. Evens up the count at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And there's a check swing by Connolly. He goes, checks with the first base umpire. He says nope. So the count goes full now at 3-2. The only defensive change for the U.S. national team besides the pitchers has been at catcher as Honer came in. There's a ball forward to Connolly, so he will hustle down to first base as he reaches base for the 2nd time in the ball game with a base hit in the 5th. Going to bring up the center fielder, number 11, Alex Cook, left-handed batter. Connolly taking a decent lead at first. Scott, first pitch missing outside to Cook, so the count is 1 ball, no strikes to Alex Cook. Cook is 0 for 3 here in the ball game, with 1 strikeout, batting .278. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Cook. And there's a foul ball that almost gets into the sky boxes. So the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes to Alex Cook. There's a ball hit into left field over Sturgis' head. Sturgis attempts to make the play, but it does go foul. as Sturgis was going down the line, and right on the line there is umpire Greg Mudd as he straddled the line and the ball fell in foul territory. So Connolly will be hitting back to first base, and coming back to home will be Cook to finish up. Still batting with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Good job there by Sturgis to try to get to the ball and try to make an over-the-head catch, but the ball missed his glove and it fell into foul territory. Pitch by Scott, missing outside. That evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Braden Scott's pitch, swing and a miss there by Alex Cook for strikeout. Second out of the inning. It's going to bring up the catcher, but first there's a timeout, and we are going to have a pitching change as Braden Scott will be leaving the ball game. And coming in to pitch for the National Junior College will be number 24, Shamar Page. So Braden Scott is done for the evening, and Shamar Page is now the pitcher for the USA national team. Shamar Page is a right-handed thrower. He pitched last night's ball game. He's a 6'2", a 220-pounder, freshman from Pearl River. So he'll be coming in the pitch, and we'll give you the line on Braden Scott. Braden Scott went a total of 3 1/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 base on balls, 2 strikeouts, as he faced 13 batters here in the ball game. So Shamar Page is now on the pitch for the USA national team. First batter he'll be facing is the catcher, number 5, Caleb Dubler, a right-handed batter. And Dubler is 0 for 2 so far in the ball game, as he has 1 base on balls and 1 strikeout, and he's batting .214 here in the World Series. So Shamar Page now on for the U.S. national team. There's a runner at first base with 2 outs. First pitch is a ball to Caleb Dubler, catcher for the Wellington Heat. Infield playing normal along with the outfield. Count goes 2-0 now to Dubler. And there's a ball fouled over our heads. As the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1, runner at first base with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 8th inning, as the Wellington Heat are now down to the 4 outs, being down 6-3. Call strike 2, so the count evens up at 2-2. by Shamar Page. Ready for his delivery. A swing and a miss by Caleb Dubler. And goes to first base for out number 3. So at the end of 8 innings of play, it is the USA National Team 6 and the Wellington Heat 3. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium. This is Frank Martinez, your play-by-play announcer for tonight's game. We are going to the top half of the 9th inning with the score of the USA National Team 6 and the Wellington, Kansas Heat 3. Still pitching for USA National Team is Aaron Henderson. That is for the Wellington Heat. Aaron Henderson. And coming up to bat for the USA National Team will be the left fielder, number 23, Brent Blaylock. As Sweet Caroline is being sung here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium, a tradition of the NBC. 1 ball, no strikes to Brent Blaylock, as Blaylock is 2 for 4 here in the tournament. In this ball game. He has 1 RBI, 1 strikeout, and he's batting .333 for the World Series. (2-0) now the count to Brent Blaylock. And here's Henderson's pitch. As he misses outside, the ball gets away from the catcher, but umpire just happens to have another one. And the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes. We do have somebody warming up for the Wellington Heat. We are in the top half of the 9th inning, and there's call strike 1. 3-1 now the count to left fielder Brent Blaylock. Winner of this game goes to the championship game tomorrow evening against the Santa Barbara, California Forsters. That ball fouled off into the stands. So the count goes full now, 3-2. And we're going to have a timeout by Blaylock. Umpire grants it, so he's back in there with a 3-2 count. And Henderson's pitch missing high and inside, so Blaylock will be on first base with a base on balls as he reaches for the 3rd time here in the ball game. He had 2 hits here in the ball game. So now batting will be the designated hitter number 28, Colton Onstadt, who struck out his last time at bat as he ended the inning in the 7th inning, the inning that they scored 2 runs to take a 5-3 lead First pitch is called strike one. Colton Onstad. There goes the Blaylock to second base. The throw, nobody covering. The ball's going to go into center field, and Blaylock goes to third easily, as neither Lyon or Burtz covered second base. And the ball ends up in center field. So Blaylock will be at third base now with no outs. And Colton Onstock up to bat with the count 1-1 strike. There's a ball missing high. 2-1 now the count. The line so far for the USA team is 6-10-0, which means 6 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. There's a swing and a miss by Onstad. And the line for the Heat, 3 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. Two balls, 2 strikes now to Colton Onstad. There's a breaking ball by Henderson, missing low. 74 mile an hour. So the count goes full now at 3-2. The infield is in for the Wellington Heat, as they're trying to keep the guy, the Blaylock, from scoring from third base. There's a base on balls given up to Onstad. That's the second one of this inning, and here comes the coach for the Wellington Heat. So we may have another pitching change, and if we do, we're going to take a small break. And that is going to be it for Aaron Henderson coming in to pitch. We'll let you know that in just a second as we'll take a small break. All right, fans, we welcome you back. Now pitching for Wellington will be number 29, Devin Crawford, right-handed thrower. So 29, Crawford. Is now pitching for the Wellington Heat. And he'll be facing the first baseman, number 29, Saul Garza. First pitch is the ball. And Crawford is a right-handed thrower from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. He's a 6'3", 195-pounder, sophomore out of Eastern Oklahoma State. 86 mile an hour fastball. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike now to Saul Garza. Runners at second and third base with no outs here in the top half of the 9th inning. As scores the USA National Team 6 and the Wellington Heat 3. There's a breaking ball, 75 miles an hour for call strike 2. That takes the ball to the count correction to 1 ball, 2 strikes. They just announced that Whipple is now the second baseman. There's a ball hit into center field. Short center field coming in is Cook. And at Onstadt, that was at second base. Correction, number 4 is Whipple. Is pinch running for Onstadt. A fly ball to center field. Cook made the catch for out number 1. It's going to bring up the center fielder number 8, Brock Edge. Once again, number 4, Cook. Pinch running at second base for Onstadt. And that is Alex Whipple. Count is 1 ball, no strikes, with 1 out here as we have runners at second and third base. Missing outside is Crawford. And here's Crawford's pitch. Breaking ball at 72 miles an hour, missing. So the count now goes 3-2. He does have a base open at first that he could put him on and attempt to get a double play to get out of the inning. So we'll see what he does here. We're on a 3-0 pitch. Not giving him anything close to hit, so Brock Edge will be at first base on a base on balls. Once again, Blaylock is at third base. Alex Whipple, the pinch runner, is at second base, and now batting will be the right fielder, number 10, Brandon Parker. And Brandon Parker is 0 for 4 here in the ball game with 2 strikeouts as he's batting 118 in the World Series. One ball, no strikes to Brandon Parker. Crawford comes with a pitch missing outside. 2-0 now the count. Well, unlike Edge, Crawford has nowhere to put Parker unless another run scores. So he's going to have to throw a strike here. There's a hard hit ball to the left-hand side. And if that thing would have stayed fair, it was fouled by quite a ways because Parker really turned on that pitch. But if that would have been out of the ballpark, that would have been our 5th grand slam of the tournament as we're sitting at 4 grand slams. There's a breaking ball at 74 miles an hour in for a strike. That takes the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bases full with 1 out here in the top half of the 9th inning. 6-3 in favor of the USA National Team. They're looking to add some more runs. There's a fastball down low. I say fastball, but I believe that was a breaking ball that hit in front of home plate. It was at 75 miles an hour. So the count goes full now at 3-2. With the 1 out, runners will be cautious. And there's a pitch and a swing and a miss by Parker. So that's 2nd out of the inning. A nice job there by Crawford. It's going to bring up the catcher number 9, Mikey Honer. Now batting,
Catcher number 9, Mikey Honer.
Honer is 0 for 2 so far in the ball game, has 1 base on balls, and is batting .231 in the World Series. There's a pitch hitting the outside corner, call strike 1. As the count goes to no balls and 1 strike to Mikey Honer, catcher for the USA national team. There's Crawford's pitch, a swing and a miss there, kind of a check swing by Honer, but went around, so the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Bases full with 2 down here in the top half of the 8th inning. Temperature staying at about 76 degrees as we just went over. The ball gets away from the catcher, Dubler. Coming in to score will be Blaylock. Moving over to third is Whipple. And moving over to first base is Edge. Second base, that is. On that, as that ball got away from Dubler. So another run scores, now takes the score to 7-3 in favor of the USA national team, as they're looking to get into the championship game tomorrow against the Santa Barbara, California Forsters. 2-2 now the count to Mikey Honer. There's a ball hit to the right-hand side. Looks like it's going to be in foul territory. Chasing it Zamaro, but gets to the fence and runs out of room. That will even up the count now at 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Runners at second and third. There's a hard hit ball once again, foul. Count stays the same. Home plate umpires gets some extra balls from the ball boy, so we can continue this ball game. There's another foul ball. And this one goes out in the parking lot. Well, good luck to those cars parked out along the first base side. Still 2-2 now to Mikey Honer. There's a fouled off again by Honer, but this time it stays in the netting area. And hanging tough is Honer at home plate against Crawford. And now we have a timeout by home plate umpire. Here comes Crawford's pitch. Trying to hit that outside corner, misses. So the count's going to go full now at 3-2 to Mikey Honer. Runners are at second and third. And ball 4 as he misses low and outside. So the bases are going to be loaded now, as all 3 base runners have reached on base on balls. Going to bring up the second baseman number 2, Tommy Sacco. First pitch is low for ball 1. And now Dubler goes out to talk to Crawford. As we have the bases loaded and 2 down here in the top half of the 9th inning. And the score, the USA national team 7-3 over the Wellington Heat. The Wellington Heat out of the Kansas Collegiate League. There's a ball hit to the second baseman. Burtz goes to Lyon covering at second base for the force out, but not before the U.S. national team score 1 run. So at the end of 8.5 innings of play, it is USA national team 7 and the Wellington Heat 3. We'll be right back.
This bud's for the dream and the people bold enough to pursue it. For those who come from nothing and rise to something. It's for those who take everything this country has to offer and make it their own.
Well, we welcome you back here to Lawrence Dumont Stadium as we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. And three outs left for the Wellington Heat. As the USA national team are looking to get into the championship game tomorrow at 7 o'clock. If they can get 3 outs. Now batting the right fielder number 3, Sam Curtis. And we got penalty, strike 1. Curtis was not in there within 5 seconds of the clock running out. So he gets penalized. So he's down 0-1 as we go to the bottom half. And a hard hit ball up in the infield. Nobody's calling for it. Here comes the first baseman, Garza, and makes the catch for out number 1. What a great hustle by Saul Garza as the pitcher Page was looking straight up. Catcher never really made an attempt for it, and then Garza took control and came running in to make the catch for out number 1. It's going to bring up the third baseman, number 14, Cody Robinson. So it's just an F3, but a great effort there by Saul Garza. First pitch is the ball to Robinson. And Shamar Page is in out pitching as he came in a couple innings ago. Let me see exactly when that was. He's recorded 2/3 of an inning so far. Only faced 2 batters. There's a foul ball on the first base side into the parking area. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Cody Robinson from Shamar Page. Missing high, so the count evens up now at 2-2. And the bullpen is busy for the USA national team as they have 2 guys up throwing, as you would think that they would. Like I say, they're trying to get into the championship game. There's a ball that was hit by Robinson, kind of like check swing, and coming in from third base was Sturgis, but was not able to get to the throw in time to Garza. So Robinson's in with a base hit. He'll be standing at first base and coming up the bat, but there is going to be another pitching change. So we're going to take a small break, and we'll give you that information when we come back. All right, we welcome you back. We are in a pitching change. Coming in to pitch for the USA national team will be number 22, and that will be Nick Urbanski. And I'll give you a little bit of update about him. He's a left-handed pitcher. He's 6'2", 205 pounds. Sophomore out of McLennan. And his 4-year school will be Miami, Ohio. Now he'll be facing second baseman number 4, Itchy Burtz. Now up to bat with a runner at first base who Robinson reached on a base hit to third base side. There's a call, strike one. Urbanski is call, strike two. So 0-2 now the count to Itchy Burtz. And here's the pitch. An 86-mile-an-hour fastball missing outside. So the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. As we are in the bottom half of the 9th inning and 1 down already for the Wellington Heat. And Urbanski taking every second of the pitch clock. He steps off. And there's going to be a penalty. Ball 2. That takes the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Horn did not go off, but umpire did not call timeout. Once again, they have 20 seconds to throw that pitch. Umpire does not have to grant the timeout. And a lot of time the pitchers try to, or batters, I should say, both ways. It works both ways. They try to play that clock by calling timeout, and umpires will not grant it. Full count now, 3-2. There's a call, strike 3 for out number 2. As Burtz goes down looking. It's going to bring up the shortstop, number 7, Alex Lyon. And now the Wellington Heat are down to their last out as we have runners at first base with 2 down here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. That is a foul ball. So count is no balls and 1 strike now to Alex Lyon. Lyon is 1 out of 4 here in the ball game. With 1 run scored, 2 strikeouts, and he's batting .313 here in the ball game. Strike 2 now the count to Lyon, as the count now goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 1 strike away now, or 1 out away, for the USA national team getting to the championship game. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Third drop strike by the catcher, but he goes to first for out number 3. And that is the ball game with the final score. The USA national team 7 and the Wellington, Kansas Heat 3. So congratulations goes to the USA national team as they will now go into the championship game tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, and they will be taking on the Santa Barbara, California Forsters for the 2018 National Baseball Congress World Series Championship game powered by West Star Energy. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you very much so much for joining us here tonight. Once again, the final score, USA National Team 7 and the Wellington Heat 3. This is Frank Martinez. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. And Lawrence Dumont Stadium, we're going to miss you. Once again, this is the last game for me as an announcer to be able to call the games here. Been doing it for 24 years, and it's a very sad moment, but I tell you what, we're hoping it's good things for Wichita as they're planning on building a brand new stadium here, and hopefully that's done in the next year. We will be playing the NBC tournament games at Wichita State University next year, and then hope to be back in our new place here at the area of the Lawrence Dumont Stadium. So once again, this is Frank Martinez wishing you all a good evening as the Santa Barbara, California Forsters will be taking on the USA National Team tomorrow at the championship game. Good evening and good night. Hope you enjoyed it.